Assume we don't have any public comments? None? All right. We have, first item on our agenda is the consent agenda. We have 7 items. Does anybody care to discuss any of those individually?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next are the minutes from October 28th, 2025. Does anybody have any additions or corrections from the minutes of October 28th, 2025? If there are no additions or corrections, then we'll accept the minutes as presented. The next item is the Water Resources Draft Audit. Doug, do you want to?
Yes, as the usual December tradition, we have Jimmy Drove and Drew Nickerson from Joe Hazing and Associates. Is that Joe Hazing? Yes. Okay.
Jimmy or Drew, you have any comments?
Yeah, they got some things to say.
Yeah, I was hoping Doug would stay out, but. Just kidding, just kidding. Both reports, we have the water resources and the storm waters. It was issued separately. Both reports are a clean opinion, no findings of any kind. We had great help from Gail and Doug. And we do appreciate the board letting us do this. I can go through anything you all have any questions about.
Does anybody have a question for Jimmy or Drew? I'll entertain a motion on the Water Resources Draft Audit. Do you want a motion on that?
So move.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
just please say, yeah.
Kirk, you
Make the motion.
okay?
Second.
Got a second? Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the stormwater draft audit. Again, we've already got the results from that. Does anybody care to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve stormwater audit.
All right, got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. You're welcome to stay.
I'd like to echo what they said too about Gail Atkins, who does an outstanding job throughout the year, but especially all the information that she puts together for the audit. And Drew, who, my nickname for him is Needle and Haystack Guy. They do an outstanding job. And Drew can find a needle in a haystack, because I've tried to hide a few over the years. He's found every one of them. They do a great job. Easy to work with.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, the next item is item number 6. Consider the widening medical center widening tap abandonment and valve box replacements.
Yes, so the city of Murfreesboro, through their stormwater and concrete maintenance contract with Rollins Excavating, they are, well, it's kind of misleading. They're widening Medical Center Parkway, and phase 2 is from Thompson Lane to the fountains, but it's not going out. They are, and you might have already seen the work, they're making the medians more narrow, and they're taking the landscaping down, making the medians more narrow, and then they will obviously replace landscaping, when the construction, towards the end of construction, when the timing is right. And along this stretch, we have a 12-inch and a portion of 12-inch and a portion of 24-inch repurified water main that is underneath that median for the stretch of this project. And so along there, we have about right at 13 gate valves on that line. And then we have 38 water service line taps and water meters. With making the medians more narrow, some of those taps are going to be out in the roadway, coupled with the city, Public Works They are only wanting to keep one water meter per island. That way they don't have to, run a line from one island to the next and that line be underneath the roadway. So with the city not needing those taps and meters any longer, we are wanting to abandon those connections down at the main. The main, for a portion of the length, the 12-inch portion that was built with phase 2, the original phase 2 of Medical Center Parkway, it's about 5 to 8 feet deep. The 24-inch, which is in front of the hospital and goes on to Thompson Lane, in some cases, that 24-inch we feel like is almost 15 feet deep because they had to fill Medical Center Parkway after the line was already installed. The 24-inch was installed prior to that section of Medical Center Parkway being built. So with the abandonment of those taps, Rollins gave us a price of digging down on each of those taps at $3,000 each. And then our maintenance department would come in and abandon the connection for all of those abandoned water meters at the main. And that would keep and avoid leaks in the future that we might have to dig down on. And some we may not find as they leak over time that could cause roadway settlement issues. And then we would be working in the roadway in the future to try and abandon those connections. There are, as I mentioned, there's 13 gate valves along that stretch. And right now, as you see, let me get my pointer here, there, it'll show up. No, it's not working. Turn it off and turn it back on, see if it'll work. Okay. Right now, those valves, as you can imagine, some are 5 to 8 foot deep, but some are 15, and this is a valve box cover. Right now, this is what is over in the ground, and it goes from the ground level, which is where the top is, down to, if you can picture 5 to 8 feet, you've got this gate valve in the ground, and this is the operating nut that helps you to turn off the valve when needed. So right now we have this circular valve, and it is bad to shift in the ground because, as you can see, it's not very substantial, doesn't have a whole lot to keep it in place. If it gets misplaced over from where it's not on top of this valve nut, then if we have to shut that gate valve for any reason, we're digging in the road to get to it. So what we have asked Rollins to do, and they've given us a price of $3,500 each, is to replace this valve box with the concrete valve box, which is it's a little bigger than a 12 by 12 square, and then put a cast iron valve box cover on top. And there's 13 of those. So they've given us a price, if you add all that up, it's $141,000. But that was only good to dig to 10 foot deep. And knowing that we have some at 15 feet deep, I request that we add a 20% contingency to that for a total of $170,000. And again, this keeps and will hopefully, and I feel like at some time in the future will be beneficial work. And not having to dig up a new roadway should something happen to where we need to get to the valves or abandon those taps. So
What's the lifetime of them?
Oh, well, gosh, is Donald in here? I don't see Donald. I know that we have used the concrete valve boxes for years. The only reason why we have these others in the system is we were trying to distinguish the difference between a repurified valve versus a domestic water valve. And so we've had these square valve boxes in the system for years, probably a good 40 to 50 years. And now they make these covers where they say repurified water on top of them as well. So it's a good way to distinguish. So This work, this funding would be from capital reserves. If approved. I can answer
So
it.
what was the use for it before with the repurified water? Was it for irrigation mainly?
Oh,
So it's
yes.
still gonna be for,
It's still for irrigation. It'll still for, yes, the repurified
so
water.
just be moved and be made better, actually, right?
Well, the line's gonna stay in place. It's the, water meters that are connected to the line that we want to abandon. So the repurified water main will still be there. We will have one water meter per median, that will remain. And so there's 6 medians along that stretch. So we'll end up with 6 meters and abandon 32 of the meters and the connections of those meters. And then the valve boxes are what we're asking to replace.
Does the city ever expect to get rid of the medians altogether?
I don't believe so. I think, I guess if they have to widen it again, then possibly. Because it's going to be cheaper to take out the median and to add another lane than it is to go wider. And it may be, the next time, it may be a combination of both taking out the median and widening it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But we wouldn't have to do anything different with the valves at that point, if they did widen. We wouldn't have to do anything with the valves. We would have to abandon those 6 connections though for the water meters because they would no longer be needed.
All right.
I think what we've learned from, go ahead, Kathy.
Oh, you go ahead. What you-
I think what we've learned from the median, we really don't need a median. We need space for cars to get through and around. I think if you see not Joby Jackson, Darren, what's the other, Cherry Lane?
Cherry Lane.
We wouldn't do this for Cherry Lane. It looks good, but we shouldn't have never
But
done
we're growing, as much as we're growing, it just
it. Yeah,
causes more work.
because you could use it as an emergency lane if you didn't have everything down the middle of the center aisle.
So when you're narrowing it now, what do you get from that? Are you getting another lane?
Yes, they're getting a lane each
Yeah,
way,
lane each
another
way,
lane
yeah.
each way.
Wow. Didn't realize that was that large.
Just like they have from Walgreens out to Interstate. They
Yes.
widened that 3 lanes.
Yes.
Well, they went that way though.
That went, yeah.
Now we're going this way.
Yeah, they had turning lanes on the outside for that section, and so they just connected the turning lanes.
Okay.
So I do move for approval.
Got a motion to approve?
Sorry.
Got a second? Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on page 66 is SSR task order for the wastewater facilities plan update. Valerie, you want to take this?
Yes. I'll be taking the rest of them today.
Okay.
So in 2019, the board actually approved a task order for SSR to update the 201 wastewater facilities plan. Not long after that, the department and coupled with SSR finalized a 20-year strategic planning document called the Water Resources Integration Plan, the RIP, is what we called it. And in that RIP, in that narrative, it mentions that the state revolving fund requires that a utility keep an updated wastewater plan that summarizes how we would serve our future customers, existing and future customers. And then about 6 months into their task order, the city began working on a future land use map. There was an existing land use map that was created with the 2035 plan, and I think planning staff didn't necessarily agree with all that plan defined as far as land uses. And so they took on the endeavor of a future land use map, which kind of put this project on hold. There was not, if we were changing the land uses, if the city was changing the land uses, that directly affects how we're going to serve, those uses. And so there wasn't any reason for us to continue the wastewater facilities plan, and it was put on hold. And it's been on hold ever since. So that future land use plan has been adopted. And so we felt like it was time for us to pick back up on this wastewater facilities plan. SSR will be able to use some of the data that they collected, which was system improvements, but they're also going to be analyzing flow monitoring data from our flow monitoring network and our temporary flow monitor data to analyze capacity, and then for the existing system, and then look on the outer reaches of the city within that future land use map to determine how we would serve those areas. So we felt like it was best to start over with a new task order rather than trying to pick back up on the original task order, since it was, 6+ years old. It will be done to the state revolving fund requirements. That way, if any of these improvements in the future, if we want to use state revolving funds, it will be per their specifications, because they do require us to have this plan if we're going to use their funding. The proposal from SSR is then the amount of $334,300, and we would fund this from working capital reserves. So I would request approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I move for approval.
Got a motion to approve?
Second.
Got a second? Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Give me a second. What is it? 13. Is it 113, Brian? Next page. So next one, the CIA recommendation.
It is the J. Percy Priest Water Reallocation Study.
108. Okay, the J. Percy Priest Water Reallocation Study, Valerie?
Yes. So in September, I brought to you all a shared cost agreement where Laverne, Smyrna, Consolidated Utility District, and Murfreesboro would participate in the legal representation for the Corps of Engineers to go through and study the Percy Priest Lake again and the allocation of what they give each of us. And you all approved to participate in that amount, which was estimated at $540,000. It was requested that we participate at a 20%, and it was approved at $108,000. And that was for just Jones Fortuna's legal representation. So the Jones Fortuna wrote the Corps requesting that they do another study, and the Corps at this time, there is no funding through the Corps to do the study. Their budget year has already closed, and the earliest a study could be initiated would begin to try and get approval for a new study would be October of 2026. And I know Laverne and Consolidated Utility District don't feel like that they need to wait that long to get the study started, because the study would take, I believe it's 2 years. Yeah, 3 years. Guidelines for studies of this type to be completed within 3 years. So the original estimate for the study was $1.3 million, but the Corps wrote back to Jones Fortuna and said that they needed a letter of intent for us to fund the group, I guess, to fund the study. in hopes that we wouldn't be funding it we would only be funding it until maybe government funding was approved for the study. It is not promised that there would be government funding for the study. So,
And this will be in their next fiscal year?
yeah, it would,
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah.
It's no guarantee that it would be. So the group got back together again, and at this time, Murfreesboro for ourselves, Murfreesboro water customers, we don't necessarily need the extra water. But we did mention that, 50% of our customers are consolidated utility district customers. So Murfreesboro doesn't need the water, but it would be best for us to be involved. One, just to make sure that our allocation, that they don't try to reduce our allocation. I know Laverne's engineer reached out to me and said, Valerie, I would encourage Murfreesboro to be involved because Laverne wasn't involved in the last study and the Corps reduced their allocation. And they didn't know it until the end. It was mentioned at, what Murfreesboro would be willing. I think 20%, and this is just my opinion, and y'all can change this, and I'll go back to the group and just say, the board didn't like what my recommendation was. In this instance, I said 10% of the 2 million, which would be 200,000 instead of the 20%, since Murfreesboro doesn't necessarily need the water. Consolidated they're taking to their board to up their percentage to 55%, and then Smyrna and Laverne would stay the same. And so,
I'm assuming that adds up to 100%?
yes. I did add it today, and I added it wrong, and I thought, oh my gosh.
We don't wanna do
Did I add that wrong? Did I put that wrong in the memo? But I did.
Okay.
55, 10, 20, and 15 does equal 100. So that is my recommendation. Y'all are welcome to change it. You can reduce it. You can agree to participate more. That is up to you all. But that was just my recommendation.
And see, do you get any sort of feeling from CUD, the likelihood of approval of 55% is reasonable?
Roger felt like, the manager over there felt like that he wouldn't have any trouble getting the approval for the 55%.
Well, I think it's important for us to be involved in the process.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
And I move for approval at the 10%.
At the 10%.
Second.
Should we make it contingent on everybody approving their portion, or is that a foregone conclusion?
Well,
Well,
we
we could,
can't,
but
I don't know
If not, it'll come back.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Got a motion and a second? Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the Thompson Lane Battlefield Pump Station and the CIA recommendation.
So we approved the design of the replacement of these two pump stations. It was in 2023 with CIA. The design is completed and we've gone out for bids. Our estimate at the time was $3.1 million. The Thompson Lane station is approximately 26 years old and it needs additional capacity for growth. And then the Battlefield pump station is 47 years old. I believe it is the oldest in our system, and it just needs to be replaced because it's old.
What, now, you said it served the Battlefield,
Visitor center,
and what else?
that's it. Then a few residences that live there on site. And so it's been designed, we've received bids, we only got 2 bidders. One reason, during the mandatory pre-bid meeting, a couple of the contractors were a little worried about the timing of this project because there is a lot of ARP funded projects out there that have to finish their projects by, I believe it's either September or October of 2026. So they were a little, I think that's one reason we didn't get more than the 2 bids. The other bidder was W&O Construction. And so Jarrett Construction, their CIA has checked out the references.
Have you
And
had problems with either of these pump stations?
Well, yes, the Battlefield pump station, I believe, I've been told that we had to rebuild the controls on our own because the controls and the wiring in there is so old you can't get parts any longer. And then the other trouble with Thompson Lane, right now we have 1 pump, and I think the problem is the suction line that goes from the pump to the wet well. There's issues with that suction line that is in the concrete. So there's a section in there, so there's only 1 pump running, and then the growth in this area, there's a couple of lots. One of the lots I've been asked to put a car wash on, and then the other one wants to put hotels on Robert Rose, really kind of across from our office. And to do that, this pump station, it wouldn't be able to keep up with those 2. So for the final development of this area that is served by that pump station, it's necessary to upsize this station. And along with that, we're keeping the wet well with this station, and are going to build another wet well beside it, so we'll have plenty of storage should it be needed.
So the ARP money runs out September, October of next year?
Well, this is going to be funded not through ARP money.
I know, but the other ARP projects that
Yes,
get in the way of this project.
they have to be completed, yes.
And if we waited till after then, that would be a problem?
We felt like it would. We also felt like the bids would come down, that they wouldn't come down after that. And so we felt like it was best to go ahead and move forward. We did tell the contractor that we would work with them if they wanted to delay the notice to proceed a little bit, that we could do that. And that way because this I think contractor does have an ARP project. And we said this to everybody, that we would, if you bid on it, that we could delay the notice to proceed, where you could order the pump station, where it would be delivered about the time you were finishing up another project. But we would discuss that after the award of the project with the person that it was awarded to. So we feel like it's best to move forward with the project. This picture up in the right-hand corner is at the Walgreens on Thompson Lane. And I don't know if you could tell it by the picture, but one of the things that we're going to do with this project is kind of conceal this driveway into the pump station a little better. We've gotten complaints where people pull in there, and instead of turning around and coming back out, they just drive through. They've run over Walgreens landscaping, and it's a muddy mess right there. They've killed their bushes just to get out, instead of having to turn around to come back out of the
Because you
Walgreens.
couldn't get out.
Yeah, you could.
Right,
No.
right. So
I've seen people do it.
that is kind of another fix with this project, is to kind of conceal that driveway, put some signage saying, no entrance, private property kind of thing. Fencing it, trying to screen it a little bit more where they don't think it's an entrance to the Walgreens.
If we've just got the 1 pump on the 47-year-old one, and we run into something real bad while he's working on his other project to get finished.
That's a smaller pump station. That's not the one where we only have the 1 pump
Oh,
running.
okay.
It's on the Thompson Lane project.
Thompson Lane.
That's one reason why we felt like we were okay. We're kind of stuck. I mean, it's either wait to bid it and you're waiting even longer, because pretty much most of the contractors were like, they agreed with the request to either postpone the bids or to postpone the notice to proceed. And so we felt like we would take the chance on postponing the notice to proceed, and maybe not as long as postponing the whole project.
Will they both be the same size when you replace them?
The Battlefield pump station is very small. It's a grinder pump, because it's not serving a whole lot. It's just the visitor center and a couple of residences. The Thompson Lane pump is much larger.
What's the difference in price on both of them?
Oh goodness, I don't know that I brought my bid tab with me, but I can certainly send that information to you all.
That's all right.
And Linda, do you remember the difference in cost between the smaller station and the larger station?
Yeah, the small one was $500,000 and the large one was $1 million.
I didn't hear what you said.
And a couple things to add, the contractors shared with me that materials prices, if we waited a year, material prices would go up. Tariffs, everything. They don't anticipate, I was surprised that things hadn't gone down a little bit after COVID. But they all pretty much told me they thought it was good for the same thing, if we did it in a year because of material prices. And then we did this, some of the board members may remember, in 2016, went on the Ransom Drive sewage pump station. We thought that bid high, and we waited a year, and it bid a year later for exactly the same thing. So we did that then, it didn't work.
Okay.
So was it $500,000 and $1 million?
Yes.
So what's this bid then in addition?
What's 2.9 versus 1.5?
The installation is, the
That was just
installation
the
of
pump.
the
That's just the
stations
pump.
themselves.
It's the-
Yeah.
And the pipe, there's some piping, we also have a force main underneath that, for the Battlefield pump station, we're having to replace the force main. It may be a bore underneath CSX Railroad.
Oh, good luck.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So there's more than just the station.
We wanted to
Yeah,
do this a
$1.5
year
million.
ago, and we waited a year for the federal government. So the Battlefield pump station is on federal property, and I learned that federal property, they don't even give easements. So the city doesn't own or have an easement where the pump station is, but that's just what federal property does for everybody. And so we have to have an archaeologist with the contractor every time he digs on the Battlefield site. And I guess that's if they find something, bullet, cannonball, whatever they find when they do the digging. So they did, in the German way, they did a GPR study around the pump station where we're gonna dig and put the new one right beside it. They already did that, that's part of what we waited for. And they didn't see disturbed ground. I don't know if they were looking for graves there, I'm not sure. But they didn't see anything disturbed. But I suppose they have to be with the contractor in case they find artifacts.
Okay. Motion, what's the board want to do?
Do we have a motion?
No, we don't.
No. I'll make a motion to approve the Thompson Lane and Barfield pump improvements.
All right, got a motion
A second.
and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the Thompson Lane widening ELI engineering design amendment number 5.
Oh, no.
Easement.
Easement.
Did I miss one?
Yeah, on page 116.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Thompson Lane widening revised easement offers.
Okay. So, once again, you all know that we've been trying to get easements for a long time now. I sound like a broken record on Thompson Lane. And hopefully, well, more than likely, we'll be back to you all a couple more times. Unfortunately. Counter offers this month, we received 2 counter offers that will add 10,246. Those counter offers. One of the counter offers is the owner has a dog. They raise dogs, and they have a fence that's going to end up in the permanent easement. So what we did was have them, instead of us being responsible for moving their fence, is we had them get quotes for them to take, and they agreed that they would do that, take care of moving the fence so they could do it on their own timeline and coordinate that. So they came and provided quotes for us, and we added that fence relocation quote to the easement payment. So that is included in that $10,246. So we're requesting approval of that, and our new easement purchase total will be $929,000.
How many more do we have to obtain?
We have 50
We have 50 currently.
more to get.
Yeah.
50 more.
50 more. There was a total of 99. Yeah. Now, in this, I'll go ahead and mention it. We recently had a meeting with TDOT to, relocate a portion of the original design, which was in easement in front of 17 properties. And it was in front of this, this I think shuts itself off. Okay. In this area between, I think it's Regency Park and the new King's Landing subdivision, in this straightaway, there's a lot of new development going on, you all know. And to take the sewer into easement, we were going to go through fences, landscaping berms, detention ponds. And so it was going to be difficult to get those 17, and it affected 17 properties in that stretch. So and this was a pretty good win, we convinced TDOT to allow us to move the sewer line back into the roadway in front of those properties. So that took away 17 easements. We still have 50, and I might go to the next slide if you all want, before we approve of that. One more. Okay, so we still have 50, taking away that 17, we still had 50 properties to get. And the legal department, we've been working with them because of TDOT's tight, they've already moved the bid opening twice. And now they hope to open bids June of 2026 in order to not lose some funding. Since this tight timeline, we felt like these 50, some we've heard from, some we have not. And so legal and the city went ahead and requested appraisals for those 50. And it went to the city council for approval in the amount of $194,250 in order to get that started. These three appraisers, you can see that Gregory Peck has 15, Ted Boozer has 19, Rhett Turner has 16. And they have a 60-day turnaround to get those appraisals to us. And so we will be coming back with additional offers after we receive those appraisals for approval. And if the homeowner doesn't accept those offers, then we're going to have to move into use eminent domain to get those easements. So along with that, you can go back one. Along with that, moving the sewer back into the roadway, ELI that's been doing our design, they will need additional money to design to move the sewer into the roadway and avoid storm drainage. And so their redesign fee is $50,680. But that avoids the 17 properties and easements. And our easement offers, our original easement offers was $86,000. So that doesn't include having to replace landscaping. That was based on tax assessor's values. That doesn't, if we had to stay in easements, that didn't didn't include landscaping, fencing, signs, and any eminent domain if we couldn't get those easements. So it is saving us money even though we have a redesign fee to move into the road. So I guess go backwards.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the $10,000 and change for the revised easement offers on number 10 here on our agenda.
Okay,
Oh, sir.
got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now, the next motion is for the widening design, engineering design amendment.
I move for approval of the $50,680 that will be necessary for that additional design fee.
Okay,
A second.
got a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the Tennessee Thompson Lane widening appraisals.
And the appraisals have already been approved. I brought this for information since of the timeline. It's already gone to council for approval.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Valerie about the appraisals?
So moved.
All right, dashboard, anything on the dashboard, Valerie, you want to bring our attention to?
Well, before we did the dashboard, I don't know if you remember, but last January, we did mid-year raises, or was it this time? last year?
Denied.
It was January. And you asked, you said you would like to know if the mid-year raises helped
Yes.
retain employees. So we put together this slide, employee turnover retention. On the left-hand side, this is from Randolph. We're in our HR department. You can see employee turnover percentage this year from January to October. In the orange there, we're at 6.5%, which is down from the previous 5 years.
30%.
So, and then I asked each department for Murfreesboro Water Resources, you know, kind of what our turnover was. In our GIS department, there's been no turnover. Operations and maintenance, Donald felt like that there might have been 5 people over the last 2 years that leave for salary reasons. 3 of those were in in August of this year, and 1 of those 3 we have rehired. He's come back. Customer service, only 1 has resigned in the last 2 years, and that was not to take a different position. Water treatment plant, none this year, but 2 left for higher pay to go to the police department in 2024. Stormwater, we've had no movement. Engineering, no movement. But we've been able to hire engineers. And then the WRF, we've had no turnover the last 2 years. So
it worked.
I think at Darren's good direction on comparing our salaries throughout the city with Metro Water Services has indeed helped over the last year, and we're just giving him information for, I guess, council will be looking at that this next year. So thought I would bring
That's
that
excellent.
to you.
Good job.
Okay.
Okay.
And then dashboard, I really don't have anything. We're working on the,
You added a lot to the capital improvements projects, it looks
no,
like. Is that the highlighted green? Is that the new?
that's been there.
Okay.
That's been there. I should have taken the highlights off. It's the same CIP. We are gonna be meeting with Jackson Thornton tomorrow and getting started on the cost of service study soon, and they're giving me an overview, and I'm supposed to supply a new CIP to them. I'm working with the city on what projects they've got funded through FY30. So we'll bring that back in January.
And with the audit, that resets our uncommitted reserve funds. So where we set that number, it went up from about 89.2 to 92.7. So the unrestricted reserves went up about $3.5 million. So we'll reset that as a part of the CIP and bring all that in January.
Okay. All right. Anything else to be brought before the board?
Do you have the forms that you want us to fill out on that continuing education? Or do you want me to print it off the website, the state's website?
I can email it to you. I'll email it to you.
Okay.
And I hope everybody's been good. No, I haven't been too good, but I'll try. But anyway, I hope everybody has a blessed Merry Christmas.